Hello, good evening, everyone. And first and foremost, Pastor Reverend Deus Cheyo, Deputy Ambassador, Miriti, our local church pastor, invited guests and members of the servant leadership. I greet you again. A very good evening to everyone. Can you hear me well? It becomes very, very difficult to speak when somebody with accolade like Joe has spoken. I've learned a lot from him, and I would share very briefly why we're here and where we are headed. And as he has stipulated very, very clearly that Safaricom has now become a purpose-driven organization. And the world is changing very, very fast, and that is something which people are not aware of. Even the job titles are going to change very, very fast. And so if you're not careful, you will be that kind of person who will be illiterate. And it's not that you are unable to read or write. You're able to read or write, but you're not catching up with the wave and the trend of where things are going. For the last 3 years, since 2019, I believe that through the Holy Spirit, He was guiding me that the world is changing very, very fast. And you better get onto that track so that you'll be able to go with the world and the trend that is already there. A lot has been mentioned, but I will just talk about the summation of the book that I was pushed to write. The summation of that book, if you allow me to start, are 5 things that through my tumbling of trying to create the Servant Leadership Network East Africa, it led me to come to realize that for somebody to develop as a leader, there are 5 things that if he does not understand properly, then he is going to have a challenge to lead. Leadership is a big challenge. And if you're not equipped, you might think you're leading, but you're doing something else which is not leadership. So the first thing in the heart of every leader, you must be purpose-driven. And so you have to ask yourself a question. Why am I here? So if that question scares you, then it means you've got to do some inside search to know why are you here. So I'm not here as an accident. I had to realize that I'm not an accident. That I'm to something that is able to affect lives of many, many people. So with that realization, you have to realize that a leader must have a purpose. So we are purpose-driven even as a Servant Leadership Network East Africa, transforming to Servant Leadership Network Africa. We are purpose-driven. We know what is pushing us. We know we want to develop leaders. We are looking at the entire Africa. And because of the virtual technologies, we know it is possible. We've now just spoken to somebody down far away. I don't know how many kilometers from here. He was supposed to be here physically, but he had a horrible accident, and now he's able to deliver his speech. And that is actually our foundation. For the last 3 years, we have never met physically. This is the first physical meeting of Servant Leadership Network members. So we've been operating on a virtual platform. We believe that the virtual platform is able to drive us to go to Nigeria, to drive us to go to South Sudan, anywhere we can be there because of the technologies that we have. Number 2, you cannot lead if you don't have a vision. Personal vision. You see, you're trying to lead an organization where you will craft a vision for the organization. But the first question, what is your personal vision? So that the two rhyme together. If the two are a mismatch, then you might find that you are running with a different vision, the organization has a different vision. And because you don't know this, So you have your personal inclination into what you're trying to drive. Number 3, I realized that a leader cannot lead people if he does not have personal values. And personal values mean boundaries. That beyond this, if you push me, I will not go. So you know yourself, you have an identity. And values is what drives us. When you go buy this thing, it is attached to a value. How much do you pay for it? That is its value. So I ask myself, how much am I worth? How much am I worth? You can't attach a value to me. My value is limitless. It's huge. So when I realized that those personal values is what has to drive me, then they form boundaries for me. My relationships, my integrity, my truthfulness, my loyalty, all those are built on my personal values. I'll give you an example, very simple. Here where we sit, the founder of where we are sitting, he passed on the 25th of December. I've worked under him for the last 10 years. So when you talk of value, it means the person you work with, you stand with them to the hilt. Come rain, come sunshine, you are there. One of the key values that Joe mentioned was loyalty. Loyalty means, and by the way, God is a smart guy. If you've never served faithfully under a person who has a vision and a purpose, I doubt if you'll get yours. God is very smart. You have to purpose to serve under somebody with a purpose, with total loyalty. Then the purpose will come in your heart, and you'll be able also to drive your own personal purpose. So values will help you be a person of integrity. Make sure you live within the boundaries of the values that define you as an integrable person in the society. That's period. I know my colleague pastors are here would want to elaborate. Sometimes when we speak on corporate, we just strengthen the word that this is what we mean, that values mean these are my boundaries. I don't pass here. Number 4 is the first thing that turned me around when I just entered into leadership. For the first time, I was thrust into leadership. And I found 10 heads of departments are reporting to me. I was never head of a department, and all of a sudden, promoted, and 10 heads of departments reporting to me. I had to learn something about emotional intelligence very fast. And that consumed me when I worked with these people and learned about emotional intelligence. So a leader without emotional intelligence is a disaster in the waiting. Because you're not composed. You don't know how to respond. You always react. So when you react a lot, it means your emotional skills are wanting. People with emotional intelligence, they don't react, they respond. Which means they process the situation and calculate, this has been said, this has been, what does it mean? Then you respond. But you have to work clockwork. So it is something has to go with speed, because sometimes you are demanded to respond there and then. So emotional intelligence is is one aspect that defines a leader. Like right now, USSR is bombing Ukraine. Somebody broke in emotional skills. That's emotional breakdown. It's just that simple. It's also about the ego. So emotional intelligence will train you also to master your ego. That your ego is not everything. Then the fifth thing that I also realized that if I'm going to lead, one of our quotes is there written by a member in the US. Can I just have that quote briefly? Some of our members contribute there. That quote which is there, I just want to use it to sum up the last pillar. No, not that one. This one. Yes. Our members contribute their thought, they contribute their ideas to develop us. So this is a member in the US, he's a professor. He's in charge of human trafficking. He's actually directing an institution with over, I don't know how many $1 million he's handling. He said this in our group some times back, that if you want to be great, learn to be a servant. The greatest leader said that. So you have to think, who is the greatest leader? You have to start searching. You'll bump onto him. His name is Jesus. So he's preached to you. But he's framed it in a way, when you take it to the corporate, people start thinking, what does this mean? What does this mean? So we have so many pulpits. I don't have to quote verses all the time. So members strive to come to realization of these thoughts about service. This is about service. Thank you so much, Ross Sante. That one is written by our member Kennedy Onyango. That one is written by Oceana. Yes, Rachel is there with her quote. And there's one there for me. And so we collect this, and we believe maybe in times to come, we will have a book. It's called Our Leadership Quotes. And it's a book. So, my friends, I believe we are in a tipping point. We are in a turning point of our generation. And as Joa said, if we don't prepare our youth for leadership, we're going to have disaster in the waiting. I will give you a reason why I'm so much attached to Joe, and I've been following him. He is the Chief Special Projects Officer of a great telco company. And we want to reach the youth in Africa. So how do we reach the youth in Africa without connecting with the telco people? We believe a time is going to come in Africa, in each country, when we get the sponsorship. Every student who graduates from university, he will be given a tablet and a line of a particular subscriber with a bundle for 6 months. And we take them through our virtual platform, those 5 pillars of leadership. That is what we believe. It is possible to go in that direction. So when we launch chapters, that is where we are headed. This one now translates to the Servant Leadership Network Africa, and this will convert into the corporate that is now like the HQ, which now will push these other chapters to grow. Let me finish by saying a couple of things about us. Number one, we have defined our purpose. So our purpose is to serve mankind without prejudice and develop leaders for Africa with a service mindset for local action and impact. So we want to serve without prejudice. Prejudice are these, these small things that, divide people, that you are this tribe, or you are this color, or you are this country. Those are prejudices. But we want to serve people without any prejudice. That we have created enough discrimination for ourselves. So we want to overcome that and put it on the back. So that's our purpose. And our mission is to develop leaders in Africa with a service mindset for global action and impact. Leaders with a service mindset. It means they'll be not running for profit, they'll be running for purpose. And as Joe has mentioned, when you pursue purpose, profit happens automatically. You don't have to chase money. Profit will follow you. You follow the purpose, profit will come. Our service statement: to serve mankind without prejudice, no discrimination. Our vision statement: a prosperous Africa under great leadership. Our leadership philosophy: great leaders are servant first. Our learning statement: our learning is catapulted by collaborative learning philosophy and virtual platform technologies, which means we share knowledge. Every knowledge we have in every day, when you're in our platform, we share the knowledge. There are people, when they have knowledge, they hide it. You say, this knowledge is so good, it's for me. No. We share knowledge, and through collaborative manner. And we believe that will propel us to where we are going. And these are our core values, what defines us. Number one, servanthood. Number two, purposefulness. Number three, learning. Number four, sharing knowledge. So we are about giving, not receiving. And that is also the principle also engraved in the good book, the Bible. That when you give, you receive. So those are the principles that guide our leadership platform. And I just want to say that the book that has been written in my summation, how did it come about? Way back to 2019. And I started writing those articles. Those articles have been perfected. There are over 60 articles which are now ranging over 600 words. Maybe 600 to 700 words articles. About 60 of them. So I selected 30. And I say, okay, now how will I title the book? Because that was what was carrying the spirit of what we've been doing for the last 3 years. So I say, this will be called My Leadership Letters. But within it, there are those 5 principles which I've mentioned: purpose, vision, values, emotional intelligence, and service-first mindset. Just a testimony. Somebody bought this book. The book, by the way, is already selling in Nairobi. There was a huge demand. Our consignment has gone to Nairobi. One of friends of mine working there is actually a director of irrigation. He said he read the book up to 6 letters, and he told me, you know what? In our country, he's from Kenya. In our country, we have what we call the Kenya School of Government. And the highest level of leadership training is a course called Strategic Leadership. So he told me, I've read this book. This book has gone beyond the strategic leadership. How it happened, I also have no idea. But when you are inspired to do something, it will have impact in the society. God bless you and keep you strong. Thank you so much.